Your Trauma Talks, an incredible new series that brings live conversations with individuals who share your resilience and understand your story.
Hey everybody, welcome to Trauma Talks and a Happy New Year, even though that clown was a little bit scary. I want to start by, well, first of all, saying Happy New Year again. And I know a lot of us already made our New Year's resolutions, but before we get into having them manifest and stuff, we have to erase some of the negative talk that's keeping us maybe from starting those amazing resolutions we've made. So I want everybody to think about all the reasons that they're already maybe starting to say, oh, I might not start working out yet. It's cold out today, or maybe I'll start next week after my aunt leaves. And you're giving yourself all these excuses why you can't start yet. So we're going to erase some of our past negative talk. And I just want you to listen. And anything that you feel is preventing you from moving forward, you're just going to erase it. Just imagine all the stuff going away, all your excuses, anything anybody's telling you why you need to stop a certain thing or why you can't do something. We're going to erase all of that. Just wave bye-bye to it. Okay, now we're going to take a deep breath and think about whatever that resolution is. Now, for a lot of people, I know it's working out. And a lot of times we fail because we don't get started. So I want to tell you, if you're already starting to come up with excuses, the best thing you can do is take action. Because if you take action and do one little step a day, I'm going to be playing some stuff for you while I'm talking about this. If you're taking action, you do one little step a day. Say you decided to work out, but you can't start for 2 days. So today, go online and maybe buy a pair of sneakers to keep your motivation going. The next day, try on those sneakers and see how cool you look. And the next day, get to the gym, go out, start doing that workout you're supposed to do. But the main point is, the only reason that we don't succeed right away is because we're not taking action. So as long as you're making some kind of move forward, no matter how tiny, it's the consistency that's going to get you there. So I want you to close your eyes and think of whatever it is you need to be doing that you really want to succeed in. And imagine all the little tiny steps of getting there. And after each little tiny step, how you're going to celebrate the success of it. So just imagine that. Take a deep breath in. Hold it for a second. Exhale any self-doubt. And imagine doing what it is that you really want to be doing. Imagine how good it feels to be so successful. And imagine how you're going to celebrate after you accomplish it. And don't forget, no matter how small the thing is that you do, have some kind of celebration that you did it. And keep thinking about that. And just listen to this for a second. Take a deep breath in. And exhale. Take another deep breath in. And on the exhale, I want you to hum. So go. I want you to do 10 rounds like this of humming. And what the humming is going to do, it's going to put you in a coherent brainwave state. And while you're in that state, you're just going to picture accomplishing all these goals that you want for this year. See how it feels, what it looks like, who's with you. Keep humming. besides putting you in a coherent brainwave state. Humming lowers your blood pressure and actually boosts your immune system. So it's a very good thing to do every single day. And you can do it no matter where you are. This way, it's a great thing. So keep humming. Keep thinking of all those things you're going to really rock this year and do great at. Keep humming. And remember, whenever you're feeling stressed or unfocused, if you just take like 3 minutes and sit down and close your eyes and hum like this, it'll bring you into focus. It'll get you out of stress. It'll lower your blood pressure. And it's that simple. Now you can keep breathing, or you can just, keep humming or breathe normally. You can keep your eyes closed or start to open them now. But see what's floating into your mind right now. Are you completely just relaxed, or are you getting ideas of what your future is looking like? Is it coming in clearer? And I just want you to imagine your perfect day, what you want to achieve, everything going smoothly like clockwork, what that looks like. From the moment you wake up to when you go to bed at night, that feeling of accomplishment. So let's start by you just woke up. Just popped open your eyes. You're about to get out of bed. What's on your mind? What does that look like? What does that feel like? Now you're up and you're moving about. Who are the first people that you see? What's the first thing you're doing? We're moving into lunchtime. Are you stopping for a lunch break? Are you meeting people for lunch? Are you very inspired and you just keep working? Are you vacationing somewhere? Now it's midday. Do you have meetings? Are you creating something? Where are you? What are you doing? Are you feeling successful? At the end of the day, you're wrapping up. What does the end of the day look like? Are you going home right away to do something? Are you going out with friends? Now it's bedtime. You're getting into bed. And you're feeling this great sense of accomplishment. Like, oh man, that was a fantastic day. And just think about all the things you were proud of. What would make you sleep really good knowing that you accomplished? And what would you think of? What do you want to go to bed dreaming of, so when you wake up, you're all set to start over again? See, a lot of us aren't having our perfect day because we don't really know what it is. So don't feel bad if you couldn't think of anything right now. Journal about it tonight. And even if you don't know what that is, say tonight when you're journaling, like, I don't know what my perfect day would look like. I want to dream about it. And sometimes things come to you in your dreams. So keep a journal next to you so when you wake up in the morning, you can write those things down. And the best way to make your dreams come true is by knowing what you want them to be. You're the creator. You get to write your reality. You get to write what your future looks like. It's all up to you. So let's make 2025 a fantastic year. You have the power. If you can think it, you can do it. And I want you to really concentrate. I'm going to be ringing in the new year. I want you to imagine yourself walking into this new reality, your future self. And when you're ready, you're going to open your eyes. Maybe wiggle your toes a bit, wiggle your fingers. If you have paper ready, or get some paper, you might want to jot down a couple of things that popped into mind. But definitely have a pad and paper next to you. So when you wake up in the morning, you can write down whatever comes to you. So happy New Year, guys. It's going to be a great year. And welcome, Ron, Brittany, and Nefertiti. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Trauma Talk Thursdays, episode 43. Happy New Year to everyone. And that was your amazing New Year gift from your Trauma Talks, all of us on here. Susie, thank you so much. That was amazing. It always relaxes you. And it's an honor to have you here. You could barely get you on the phone. And for you to take time off to do this, it's really, really amazing. It's the new year. The new year just unfolded. So much right here in the United States of America is going on. People are overwhelmed. People are burnt out. They can't believe the year has started already. It's a new year, 2025. And they have just started and they are burnt out. They have brought over stuff that they have not completed. It is fine. It is okay to not complete what you have not completed, as long you don't stop and do not keep going after it. Let me introduce our beautiful co-host, Brittany Purr. Brittany Purr is sitting backstage. Here she comes. Hello, Brittany Purr, and Happy New Year to you as well.
Happy New Year to you and to our viewers who are a huge part of our community. Happy New Year to you, Susie, and thank you so much for the gift of that sound bath. I feel amazing after that. You are truly talented. Thank you.
I love you guys. Thank you.
She is amazing. And yes, to all of our rosters and all our Obscurum Nights and all Susie music therapy fans, sound therapy fans, everyone out there, thank you for joining us. Hey, it's only 2.5 months and it will be 1 year that we have brought you all Trauma Talk Thursdays. So thank you so much for joining. We couldn't have done it. It's on Spotify, it's on iHeartRadio, it's on iTunes, it's on Amazon Music. Anyway, that's podcasts. You can find a podcast. Just Google it. Trauma Talk Thursdays, Therapeutic Thursdays, Trauma Behind the Glamour, and you can catch us all there. So, without further ado, it's a new year and we have stories for you all. We have stories for you all. Every one of us have a story. So, what we'll do tonight, Brittany, you want to just read out the little bio that before we introduce our amazing guests. amazing guest, just like Susie brings sound therapy, she brings floral therapy. So let's hear you, Britt.
Ooh, I am super excited for this. Nefertiti San Miguel, also known as the floral therapy queen, is the visionary behind Neurobana, a unique fusion of behavioral neuroscience and ikebana, Japanese floral artistry, designed for stress management and post-traumatic growth. A four-time Amazon #1 international best-selling author, she co-authored the book Global Conscious Entrepreneurs with Dame Marie Diamond, earning endorsements from renowned Zen millionaire Ken Honda. Nefertiti's mission to enhance mental health through her ability to transmit balance through her floral therapy. Welcome, Nefertiti.
Yay!
Much
Welcome,
love.
Nefertiti.
So
Thank you for
great to connect
coming.
with you. Thank you for the lovely introduction. It warms my heart to start 2025 is such a boom. Here we are, Thursday night, 2nd of January, sharing the spotlight and bringing some substantial pearls of wisdom for the world to start the year with more enlightenment and better ways to be substantial, more sustainable in an artful living, because that's one of the things that I love to do, preach and advocate for. So here we are.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Susie, do you want to ask her anything?
I'm just super excited that you're here, and I'm hoping you have some flowers you can show us too in the background. Did you bring stuff? I forgot to tell you ahead of time. Any of your things around?
Oh my goodness!
I should have
I
told you ahead of time.
don't
She
have
does the most
anything to
beautiful
show
arrangements.
right.
Ooh, okay, okay.
All right, so she will be able to do that. So Nefertiti, we will go backstage and we want you to tell us your story. We'll be back to have a little conversation with you in a little while. The stage is yours.
Okay. I am delighted to share my story. Good evening, everybody. Again, 2025. Happy New Year. Here we are, starting in great fashion. My name again is Nefertiti San Miguel. I am lovingly known as the floral therapy queen, and how I got that endorsement, it's because I was chronically depressed most of my life. And in one of my darkest times 4 years ago, I was dealing with chronic depression, anxiety, mild panic attacks, and nightly insomnia. And I went on a quest to fix myself and to find something more sustainable than what is available out in the market to deal with my conditions. And I became the solution to my own troubles by practicing floral artistry, Japanese style, which is called ikebana. I hold the title of sensei from an Ivy League school. We are in the top 8, and it's called Sogetsu. And I have been very dedicated to the craft since 2007. But it wasn't until 2020, after the whole virus apocalypse took over the world, that I went on a quest to take a different approach, not only to my life, but also to my mental health. And I started intertwining behavioral neuroscience because I needed to know how my brain works, how I could master my emotions, and dig myself out of chronic depression. And I start experimenting, intertwining these two different elements, the behavioral neuroscience and the Japanese arts. And I noticed that by getting hands on floral artistry, not only you have a way of self-expression, but also it's scientifically proven that you cannot have two thoughts at the same time. So when I was engaging into designing, everything else will fade away and it will go kind of on the back burner. And I got so into that moment of Ikebana practice that it was a very healthy distraction to my problems and my depression. And I start putting together these protocols and practices and noticed the improvement in every day, and not only my mental state, but also my productivity, and how kind of magically things start to evolve and my life started to change in a very positive way. And not only I was able to do that for myself, but also to share it with people in my close environment. And by sharing floral artistry, when you showcase your personality, the resources that you have within your environment, and you share it with other people, those people start noticing your positive changes. And then what follows is, oh, share with me, how did you accomplish that? I see that you are in a better space. You are more uplifted. You are happier. So by having those conversations of curiosity from my close people in my environment, I started getting to be more structured and more vocal about my practice. And then that expanded into doing library presentations and sharing my gift and talents with local organizations, whether it was educational, art related, or with group of veterans, which is one of my passions to do in these current times. And that's how I earned myself the title of Floral Therapy Queen, and adds up to the equation that I was named after a very iconic Egyptian queen. So that kind of goes nicely in congruency with my life story. I am very passionate about what I do. I call it the Holy Grail because it brings so much value, whether you want to entertain people, you want to find your own way of self-expression, you want to get distracted from chronic depression, like it was my case at the beginning of 2020, or you want to bring a better practice for your business. This is like the holy grail for a lifestyle. In regard trauma, the way that I dealt with my own share of traumatic experience, and I want to tell you a little bit of the behind the scenes. When I was a teenager, my biological father, during the holiday season, he left me and my biological mother destitute. He took off with another family that he had on the side. He had this like double life, and he cleaned up all the accounts. At that time, we didn't have money to do groceries, much less to have a decent holiday celebration. So that was very traumatic for me. My life was never the same after that. I became a workaholic during the holidays because I didn't want to deal with memories, and I just want to push away all those feelings and keep myself busy up to exhaustion. And that was not too conducive, but that's all I knew how to do. Then years later, during my birthday, my mother, she left me destitute and left the state, never to be seen. She cleaned up my account, left me with a very high sum of dollars to be paid in debt. And it happened right around my birthday. It was the same week of my birthday. And that was back in 2017. I was devastated, and I don't handle that word loosely. So it was a very traumatic experience. And I started doing my own inner work to heal myself and release all that negative load of emotions that it doesn't serve me. It didn't make me a better person. And then, kind of the icing on the cake, it just happened. Week and a half ago, I'm living in Quincy, Massachusetts, and I get a notification from the city officials that they are forcing the people in the property where I live to vacate the premises because they are having some coding and zoning issues with the property owner. Well, that's a little bit cruel, in my opinion, because it was Christmas Eve 2024, and they gave us less than 3 weeks to go and find somewhere to go. And I was upside down and inside out at that moment, because the tendency of us as human beings is to go on a pity party and say, why me, and why in the holidays, and this is another traumatic experience that I have to deal with it. And it's very easy to go on a sewer cycle and go on a very negative mode. So I have to pull the handbrake on myself and say, well, I am not at my best for obvious reasons. I have a major housing crisis that I have to face ASAP. But reality is that there's nothing that I can do in the next few days because it's the holiday season. Even if I want to evolve and come up with something, it's not going to happen because people are traveling, they're spending time with their families. And here I am stuck in a nasty situation, and getting depressed is not going to help me to solve the problem. So I did some changes at the last minute to my schedule, and I say, well, I am going to have a holiday regardless of. And I planned 3 consecutive days, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and the day after Christmas, to make my own version of a holiday with loved ones, friends, fans of my work. And it was no optimal conditions, but I made it happen. And I, by decision, enjoy a version of holiday cheer, even in the midst of chaos. And that's something that I wanted to talk about, because so often we have plans and they don't happen how we envision it, because some crisis happen, some people dump their issues on you, all kind of things are out of your control, and you just have to become quick on adjusting and coming on the other side, not only with options and possibilities, but bring the good will that things are going to work out for you. And I have found that if you cross the border of having kind of unconditional belief, the boat might be sinking, but if you think, okay, another boat is going to come along and it's going to rescue, you can rest assured that it's going to manifest. And my housing issue happened on Christmas Eve. Well, exactly 48 hours later, I was able to come up with a reasonable solution within the time frame that I have to get my housing situation somewhat straight and have something temporary until I have more adequate time to evolve. So my message is, doesn't matter what happened in your life, you have choices, and you need to have the faith that I call it quantum field, but you can call it God, you can call it divine intervention, that all you need is the power of one. The power of one connection, one phone call, one referral, that is going to be the solution to your troubles on that particular moment. And don't overwhelm yourself with all the hows and why and questions that you might not have the answer at that particular moment. Because when you go on the why me and you have 1,000 questions that you cannot provide an answer for it, it's a very disempowering situation. So start one little thing at a time, and you can rest assured that the solution is going to show up. It might not be to your liking or best scenario, but all it counts is that you can transition to your next step and don't sink into depression or let the situation get the best of you. So I am in the middle of packing, restructuring my life for obvious reasons, but at the same time, I'm very optimistic and I'm looking at the bright side. Okay, I need to get better organized with my packing, and that's going to help me for my business, for the other things that I do in my life, to have everything well organized and packed. And it's all about having the recognition there are two realities. We live in a dual reality, and we have the power of choice. Do you have the capacity at a given moment to look at the bright side? Or are you going to be on the realm of gloom and doom, which doesn't do you any good? And having those moments of not only reflection, but reframing things. So now I have my vision 2025, regardless of the housing crisis that I'm facing right now, still being epic because I have people following my work. I have bookings to showcase my craft in the upcoming months. I have amazing projects that I have been requested to be part of it. And I cannot allow one single situation get the best of me and sink into depression when I have so many positive things going on. So the other thing that I also want to talk about is that often when a special occasion comes around and you have faced traumatic experiences, like in my case, you might have a tendency to want to disappear from the world, not wanting to deal with anybody, and not having the spirit for the celebration. And I encourage you to go on a separate opposite direction and push yourself to be in the festive mode, to celebrate your wins, to set up for success. And even if you are not in the best party mode, you own it to yourself as a moral obligation, commitment, and duty to yourself to think about this special occasion or this holiday. Don't let it be a commercial affair. Let it be all about you, your well being, and do things that make you happy. It doesn't matter what it is. One of the things that I have found is that doing community work is very rewarding. And when you see different life stories and people who might be facing situations more challenging than yours, then you step back for a moment and you look up and say thank you, because my challenges are not as bad as the other people. For example, at some point I was doing entertainment for senior centers and rehab facilities. I was sinking into depression at that time because my mother left me destitute and I was left with a lot of financial debt. And by me going to entertain the seniors to see that they were relying on other people to take care of their basic needs, it was a wake up call for me to say, well, yes, I'm depressed. I have a bad situation. I have been used, abused, and abandoned, but I have good health. I have my physical well being. I can provide for myself. I don't have to depend on anybody. And that was one of the steps along my process to dig myself from chronic depression. So, any tricks and hacks that you can do to boost your confidence, to boost your self esteem, your hopes, and make you desire more instead of saying this is the end of the world, is the best thing that you can do for yourself. And circling back to floral therapy, it's very nurturing because you're bringing a biophilic element into your immediate environment, and it's something that it's for the world to be shared. It's not only for you, but if you are sharing a meal with somebody, you have that floral arrangement adorning the table, and it becomes an element of enjoyment not only for you but the people in your circle. If, for example, which that was my case, I had a dear friend dying from cancer. I spent the last few weeks of his life at hospice. Well, by me having the gift and talent to do a floral arrangement, I will go and visit my loved one, leave that arrangement on the nightstand or adorning the room, and it was a nice way to connect. When this person died, it was painful, but I was able to cope with the situation better because not only I was in peace with myself, but I did the best within my resources to give that person comfort and be of support during those critical times during the last days on this planet. So I always encourage and campaign not only for beauty, but to curate your environment and to do things to bring you peace. It could be a hobby, it could be a new activity like sound therapy or floral therapy. And every little thing that you add to your lifestyle to have a more enriching experience while you are on this planet, your future self is going to say thank you, because it gets often underrated and underestimated the power of art and how to do certain activities more on the frame of this is therapeutic for me versus having the scarcity mentality of, oh, flowers, they are expensive, flowers, oh, they are just for a special occasion, or you have to wait for somebody to give them to you on a particular time of the year, your birthday, Mother's Day, wedding. And I think that is a bad way how to give away your power and your choices. Why not bring floral artistry into your life as a lifestyle on the regular basis? And it's very uplifting. It's scientifically proven that boosts your immune system, your mood, your emotions, and it's a very precious way how to connect with other people without needing a whole lot of resources or getting stuck on the mindset of, oh, I don't have money for that. I take great pride on showing people how to do beautiful floating arrangements, not only for meditation and devotional practices, but also to bring that same vibe into their daily life. And you might take a few minute break from working remote at home and concentrate on the beauty of the floating arrangement, and it's going to bring you some calm and peace. You can reset by doing that practice. You can enjoy your favorite beverage, few minutes of downtime just to reset and reboost a little bit of the energy if you feel like you are running down a little bit, and do anything that is going to enhance your quality of living at any capacity. Don't underestimate what can do for you, because it's all small incremental practices that is going to get you to a better version of you. And how you do one thing is how you do everything. So I always campaign to keep it creative, keep a way of self expression, to play like a child, be very curious, and don't think about, oh, I'm going to screw it up. I am not artsy or I am not creative. That's a gift that all people have within. And I would love to share that passion with you and have maybe a one on one and show you the power of Nirvana. And back to you, my dear Rahul.
Wow, deep. You touched on so many things, and I love it. You just went in. I love the part about, it's basically you're telling them to not to give up. You spoke about in your therapy as meditation. So let's do this quickly. Let's just run over here and just see what these amazing people, Dr. Hawkins, are saying. New Year blessings to everyone. She was saying, yeah, when you're speaking. Shivani saying, Happy New Year to all your amazing guests. Jenny is here. Happy New Year to everyone. Susie is saying, you're amazing, Nefertiti. Wonderful that you are helping our vets. Amazing. We have Amen Child sending love. That this is a great episode. Much love. Here we go. Susie saying, you're a true warrior, Nefertiti. That's a rundown here again. She's telling you, I'm so happy you were able to pull through everything and still enjoy your holiday. See, that is so true. And that's moving forward and not being stuck. There we go. The power of one. We have Yannick is joining in tonight. You are terrific, Nefertiti. The power of one, they're sending love, knowing happiness from within. We have Midnight Queen, who is Cabachet. Cabachet, we were speaking about you on Therapeutic Thursdays earlier after Dr. Robertson came off the episode of Therapeutic Thursdays. She was actually asking me if I have any guests. So, all you beautiful ladies who want to be her guest on her show, please let me know. And you as well, Nefertiti. She brings healing and spirituality. Definitely Midnight Queen. She wants you, Cabachet. Let's move on. I give plants as a celebration gift. That, yeah, that's true. Giving a plant and like a pot of flowers or something is really nice. How do you do? How you do one thing is how you do everything. So true. Amazing. Thank you, Susie. Well, I'm bringing you lovely ladies back up to have a little chat with Nefertiti herself. This is beyond amazing. And you spoke. Yes, she is. She's putting up her hand. Thank you so much for being here. And share this, subscribe, everyone, like, comment, ask a question. Like, we have an amazing question from one of our guests. She's watching on right now on Instagram. I think her name is Chandni, and her Instagram handle is the Star of Judith, and she has an amazing question. Is talking about the fear of failure, and I know every single one of you have something to say about it. So when I pop each person on, I know definitely you all will have something to share. But my thing about failure is the word failure have to exist, right? But at the end of the day, when do you really fail? Because you attempted something? Because you tried something? No. As long you tried, you learn from it. If that's what they call a failure, yes, it didn't happen at that time. It didn't happen at the right moment that you wanted to. Just like I say all the time, what is meant for you shall never pass you by. And what passes you by was never meant for you. Just as there was a man who had the blues because he had no shoes. Down the street, he met a man who had no feet. It all comes down to the same thing. You, as an individual, needed to get up today. You needed to get up today. You needed to come off your bed and make some moves. All of you right now did that. You took a step from 2024 to 2025. So you give yourself a pat in the back for giving to bring yourself out from a difficult year. 2024 was no easy drag. All Brittany Purr is backstage. She can come out and tell you. But you know what? She came out on top smiling. But if she didn't take those steps towards whatever she did, it would have never happened. So there's nothing like failure. Your thing is you learn. And if you didn't learn from it, it's gonna happen all over again until, as they will say, you keep failing. But it's really not a failure. You keep attempting. So let me bring these beautiful ladies up. That was my little saying on that. We have Brittany Purr and we have Susie. Everybody wants to share their information with Dr. Robertson. So you ladies, lovely ladies, you all chime in and speak, have some questions for Nefertiti.
All right. So
Should I start answering the question about failure or wait for later?
I'd say go for it.
Okay, I'm going to say two things about the question. Number one, you have to think that it's a price to pay for everything in life. And failures, they change the connotation and the bad feelings when you think about them as this was the price to pay for experience and a lesson learned. And if you don't pick up the lesson, well, it's just like failing in school and you have to do the grades again in the upcoming year and you have to pay the tuition again. So once you reframe things a little bit, you have a different perspective on it, and you always have to give yourself grace because we are perfectly imperfect, and you have to give yourself grace when that is shown on a given situation. You didn't think quick enough. You were a little bit naive. You were not proactive in making your due diligent homework before you get into a contract or you get into a commitment. So you have to keep all those things in mind. And then the other thing is that I started doing this for my own mental sanity because we have a tendency to question our abilities especially if you are in toxic environments where everything that you do, it's never good enough. You need to go to the environment where you are welcome, celebrated, and encouraged. So you have to think about, okay, is this a conducive environment or should I make changes? And then one thing that I do on the annual basis, I make a list and I refresh my memory of all the greatness that I have accomplished over the years. And when I say over the years, that goes back in the day when I was in kindergarten and I got a little ribbon for being creative on art class. Well, I am the age that I am right now, but back at that moment, I was excelling. So if I was excelling at that age, I can continue to excel in current times. So the more you boost your confidence, and confidence, it is a proven record of your capacity to get something done. So make that list, whatever that looks like. I rock a stage. I graduated. I am the first one to accomplish this in my family. I am doing something that never have been done before, like in my case with Nirvana. So just be bold, adventurous, and don't pay attention to the things that they don't go right, because that's part of the living experience on this planet. And get going with that list, and then we can connect later and talk about it if you want.
Very cool.
I love that. Can I ask you a question, Nefertiti?
Go for it.
What was, if you remember, like the moment or the flow arrangement you're working on when you realized, oh my God, when I'm doing this, like it just seems like you get into that flow state and everything melted away. Like, do you remember that actual moment, which flow piece it was, or when you made the connection, like, oh my God, like when I do this, like the world ceased to exist, and like I feel like I'm in heaven.
It was a chain of events. And the main thing for me when I was at my darkest time of being chronically depressed is that I was having this nightly unwanted affair with insomnia, that I was just sick and tired of it. And what carried me through those nights, it was me engaging into floral artistry until sunrise. And my flat at that time, it looked like a flower shop. There was no corner left behind with something related to Ikebana. And I will do it until I was exhausted from not having enough rest. But then my mind was entertained enough with biophilic elements in nature that I started to have better night's sleep. And it was a slow transition into, I see a difference. Let me pay more close attention to those improvements. So it was not like a quick moment of epiphany. It was a chain of events and paying attention and kind of making mental note, I feel slightly different. Let me check on those emotions. I noticed that I'm not as depressed. I'm starting to sleep a little bit better. And doing the behavioral neuroscience, it was a very key element, because I started to train my brain with particular type of audio files. And then I started seeing the results, and I went from chronically depressed to my work going internationally, to getting awards abroad, to have invitations to showcase my talents on different platforms. And it was like going from tragic to magic. But it was not a one overnight success. It was a series of things happening back to back. And then you look on a 2020 vision, it's like, wow, that really worked. But you have to put the work, and you have to let the work go. Like when you plant seeds, you cannot be checking every day, well, is the plant growing? Is it the tree getting bigger? You just have to let it flow. But that was the beginning of Nirvana, the midnight insomnia.
That's beautiful. I'm sorry you had to go through that though.
But here we are, rocking it like nobody's business. I'm very happy. And you just have to look at the price of things. You know, that was the price to pay, that chronic depression, to become the version of me that I can show to the world proudly today. And I have to be okay with the price and say thank you. It was not to my liking, the delivery of the gift, but sometimes that's how life brings things to you. And I joke about it, but often the best gifts, they might come wrapped in double sandpaper. So you are unwrapping the gift and you are just like, oh, getting all that friction in your skin. But once you open the gift, that gift is yours.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Mhm.
You work with fresh flowers, right? So did you go out on the hunt and like pick up things? And so that's part of the therapy too. I think that you're out in nature, like exploring and finding and.
Yes, there are a few different ways how to go about it. You can select the material beforehand. You can challenge yourself to work with the resources that they are available to you. And that's something that I like to show people, how to be creative, because again, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And when you force yourself to work with what is available to you, you become very resourceful in a moment of crisis. You don't see it, but it's scientifically proven how you do one thing is how you do everything. And it can be dandelion and dry branches, and I guarantee you, you're going to do something beautiful to rock your style. And you are not going to be thinking about, oh, I need $50 worth of flowers to give something good to somebody as a present. So it brings that artistry, but also switch that mental scarcity mindset that people have, that you can overcome the financial restrictions that you might have on a given moment and showcase your talent. And that's going to be more important than the dollars invested on an arrangement that you are gifting to somebody.
Beautiful.
I love that. So one of the things that you brought up was, I forget the term that you brought, but just dealing with nature or natural elements and how that creates healing in the brain, overcoming depression and these sorts of things. Can you open up a little more about that and about your experience with that too?
We as humans have a connection with nature, and we are in current times where there's so much virtual reality and so much garbage and so much information coming our way that we are not physically equipped for all those rapid changes in technology. So one of the things that you can do to yourself for a more grounded mental state is to work with nature. My craft is very different from gardening and it's very different from bonsai, but it's related. So, for example, if you happen to have, let's say, a garden, I can show you what to do and how to do with the resources that you have on your backyard. And then you get to enjoy not only your garden, but an extension of your garden within your enclosed environment, your workstation, your kitchen, your nightstand. And it keeps that connection between nature and yourself. Let's say that you like to go out on walks with your pet and you are a dog owner. Well, you can go to the favorite park, and when it's blooming season for flowers, you can pick a couple of items. It doesn't have to be a bunch of them because Ikebana is very minimalistic. And that's also the benefit of practicing Ikebana, because you are decluttering your mind in the environment. So you are getting maximum benefit from nature at a very bare minimum of resources. So you are doing these extremes because it's very minimalistic, but it's very soothing at the same time. And you can do things like, for example, I show it to my students all the time. You make arrangements with green leaves only from overgrown plants that you might have on your, if you live in a building and they have a sort of landscape area. you can clip some of the branches that they are overgrown and do something beautiful for your home and the indoor spaces. And getting that constant content with the nature, your brain is going to say thank you, because we get bombarded with too much garbage, and it's majority of it, it's just depressive things. And then you are going into what is called environmental hypnosis, and people don't even know that it's a thing. So you have to be very resourceful and keep blocking all the garbage. And I don't have a TV, I don't pay for cable. I forgot when was the last time that I saw some sort of series, because I am so invested in curating my mind and my environment that I have a very unique lifestyle. This is not for everybody, but that kind of brings a few different things that I can share with you in regards bringing nature into your home space or your work.
I love that. Very cool. And thank you for opening that up to us. And hopefully, more people will get out into nature, and even just the plants, trees, brush, bushes within the neighborhood. You know, there's always something popping up through the cracks, which kind of cycles back to the idea of like failure. It's like you can always break through. You can always break through those cracks, and look at the resilience of these plants that just spring up through concrete. So,
And also, I want to tell you real quick, there is a concept in Japanese culture called moitone, and the translation is something around the lines of being mindful about your resources and don't wasting things. And to that end, I have gotten so much into that practice that I am very strategic with the flowers that I get for my arrangements, because after they dry, I can reuse them later. Like I can do sachet, or I can use the dry flower to accent gift wrapping, or to do a greeting card with a check, or if I'm making a payment, to include the cash in there. And I have a reputation of being fancy, because if I'm making a payment, I call it happy money. It has to be a happy exchange. If I am getting something in return for that money that is increasing my quality of life, it should be a happy transaction. So I don't just give out the money or the check, it's a ritual. So I put a greeting card, I enclose the payment, and I do a little wrap with a twine, a nice bow. I insert the dry flower, and I have a reputation that it's just very delightful, because you extend different levels of ikebana to other people, and it's a nice bonding. You build up a nice reputation, people think of you fondly, you get the thank you notes, you get those everlasting impressions. And I have gotten requested to do some amazing projects just out of those little details, that it really doesn't cost much, because in all reality, if you have a dead flower that you dry and add it as an accent, and you go to the $1.25 store and you get 4 greeting cards for the $1.25, but you make an everlasting impression out of what, 75 cents? You should do it all day long, just saying.
That's beautiful.
Yep. So it's
And I do great pride to show that to people, because I often see how they come to my class. Oh, that's too hard. I don't know. It's questionable. I have a black thumb. I am no artsy. And the energy in the room, within 2 hours, everybody's just all bubbly up and happy, taking pictures, writing me thank you notes before they leave the classroom. It's my pride and joy.
So with Ikebana, is part of the art and the act giving forward as well as receiving for yourself?
It is a gift to the world, because it's not only for yourself, for anybody who is viewing the arrangement. And also, what I love about that particular art form is that honor all the stages of life. different from commercial floral artistry here in the United States. When you give an arrangement as a present, you don't do full blooms because they don't last too long. So what you do, you arrange the flowers in a very strategic fashion, and the recipient of the arrangement, they get to enjoy from the bud to opening up to full bloom, and then when it dries. And even when it's just transitioning to either die or get it dry for a later use in the way that I do it, there's something called wabi-sabi in Japanese culture, and it's that honoring of the different seasons. So nothing goes to waste.
Beautiful.
So what else do you want to know, Ikebana?
I love that so much. Oh my God.
Susie, do you have a question or?
Well, when you start with students, do you take them out to look for things, or do you tell them to already come prepared? Like, is that like part of the journey? Is that you take them out hunting and say, this is what we're going to look for, or just intuitively pick what you want?
It depends on the event host, because I usually work with groups, and the person organizing the group has a vision. I have done it for garden clubs, so they are pros because they have all their things in the garden. I have done it for libraries where I bring an assortment of materials and people pick and choose depending on their personality and how they want to go about it. I have done it in times where it's a mixture. People bring things that they want to work with, maybe buy roses for their arrangement because it's their favorite flowers, but I also bring supplies for them to add maybe some accents or some greeneries. So I love permutations because it just shows abundance. The more choices, the better. And then people get to go home with things that they were not expecting. So it's a floral party. That's how I call it.
Oh, I love it.
All right. And I know that we're a little at time. Ra, can I ask 2 more questions?
Yeah, you can do that. I just didn't want you to say, I didn't see Ra, and you're looking for me. And, you guys been asking amazing questions. And Nefertiti, I just want to say thank you so much for doing this. This is our very first episode for 2025, and you just brought it. Everybody loves it. We have Chat is online, everyone that's there. Thank you so much, all our Rastas, for tuning in and supporting. Nefertiti, thank you again. I'll leave it up to Susie and Brittany Purr to ask you your questions, and you guys can close. Love you, everyone.
Perfect.
Thank you.
We're gonna stay here another 3 hours, then.
Okay. All right. I'm like game for it. Nefertiti, where can people find you?
I would say the easiest way is on Facebook. Send me a private message, and I'm listed as Nefertiti San Miguel Global, and I am based in Boston. So even if you do Nefertiti Boston, my name is gonna pop. I don't like to give too many choices because a confused brain doesn't take an action.
True.
So let's keep it send me a private message via Facebook or a friend request. Well, let it know that you came across my work here at Trauma Talk, and we can connect and carry on the party. We can do floral parties virtually anywhere in New England. And who knows, maybe we do retreats in the future and go somewhere out on a field trip or something. That's in my wish list of things that I want to do more this year.
That would be awesome. And then one last question that I have for you is, what is a message that you would like to leave with our listeners and our community?
That goes on 3 parts. 1, curate your environment like your life depends on it, because it does. When I went on a quest to resolve my chronic depression, I came to the realization that my issue with depression had nothing to do with the chemistry of my brain or mental health issues. It was all due to toxic environment. and toxic relationships. The moment that I clear out the house, like I really clear it out, my life, I need to look the back version of me with a telescope, no joke. So curate your environment like your life depends on it, because it does. The other thing is not that easy to do, but it's totally worth it. It takes some effort and energy and some will, because we are conditioned to put up with a lot, especially us ladies.
Yes.
And when you do more of what you love, less of what you tolerate, and nothing of what you hate, your creativity, your well-being, the course of your life, it just go in directions that you never thought possible for you. And then the third one, take fun seriously. Have a blast. Foster your inner child with no restrictions. Do balloon art, get face painting, play with the mud, whatever catches your fancy, go for it. Because having that, fostering your inner child, not only brings solutions to problems, because you become creative, you're always looking, okay, if I do this, or if I do the other thing, it's very conducive for your lifestyle. But also it keeps you energetic, youthful, and fun, because who wants to spend time around grumpy people? Nobody. But when you are that cool person,
I'm listening to you.
foster your inner child. Yes. So those three, you put it in practice, and you will see some amazing results.
Thank you so much. So one more question, or actually one more share / question.
Okay.
New York, live on stage. Both Susie and I have done it. We did it last year. It's crazy to say last year already.
No.
But we would love to have you join us in New York this year during Mental Health Wellness Month in May. So this is also to our community that is watching or listening to this replay. Join us in New York live in May on Broadway, your Trauma Talks. So we would love to have you there, Nefertiti, if you are available. Susie,
And what's the date? Because I already have some bookings.
Already? Oh my goodness.
Because it's Mother's Day, it's Mental Health Month awareness, and I already have few bookings in the month of May already. So I need to coordinate the schedule and the calendar. But I say yes, if I have it available, I'm there.
Awesome. I don't have the dates in front of me. Ra, if you want to pop back up, share a little more on that.
I think I did give you the dates. I don't know if you told me you were free or not, but I thought it was May 2nd.
Okay, it's the 7th and the 8th.
Oh, 7th, 8th. Oh, sorry, I'm wrong.
Ooh, okay, May 7th and 8th, 2 days back to back?
Yep.
Okay. I think, is that a weekend? I think that I'm teaching at a library. Let me double check. But I will say, if anything, I am going to New York in March, and I would love to meet you in person. So we can carry on the party behind the scenes and away from the cameras, just to warm up to each other.
Ra's in the same book we're in. That's what you'll meet him. We're all going to be at the same party.
Okay. Well, it's a party.
Woo woo. And for those who are watching our community, those who are listening, remember to subscribe, like, and support your Trauma Talks and our channel and what we are doing, so that we can support people on a larger scale. We need this to grow and to expand, because there are so many people that need to hear voices like Nefertiti's, like Susie's, Sound Bath. People need this right now. It is so crucial and so important. So share this forward, like, support, subscribe, let people know what we have going on here, so that they can also know that there is a way through anything that life throws at them. And there are so many stories that help and support and guide people to really overcome the circumstances that they are facing, whatever they are. So thank you again, Nefertiti, for joining us. Thank you, Susie, for
Thank
the sound
you.
bath and for bringing Nefertiti. Is there anything that either of you would like to wrap up the show with?
I just
I
want
would
to say,
love to
I'm sorry.
say,
You go first.
I would love to say it has been a delightful time to share this virtual space with you ladies and Rahul. If you happen to come to this side of New England, I would love to show you around. I would love to extend that world-class hospitality. So I always welcome new friends. I call them extended family by choice. And we need to carry on the party at a different setting, maybe do like a quick workshop or a mini retreat or something. We need to carry on that floral party elsewhere.
I love that. And Nefertiti, I want to say I'm a huge fan. I love everything you're doing and the love you're spreading out there. And Brittany, I'm a huge fan of yours too. And I want to ask you too if you want to come to New York, because we can have guests at the book party. And like I feel like I can never stand in front of a billboard without you and Ra again. Like you guys need to be there every time, and they're going to put the book up. So I want to invite you to come too. I'd love for you to come.
Awesome. I'll see if I can make it happen all the way out here in Cali.
You're a New York girl. You feel like a New York girl.
I know. Should visit more often, but I'm enjoying my son.
I get
Well,
that.
make plans to come and do a tour. So you do
Yes.
Massachusetts, New York, make it count.
Yes, definitely.
From the west to the east coast, it's a party.
Road trip.
I love it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Susie, once again for the sound bath. Thank you, Nefertiti, once again for joining us and sharing your incredible story. And of course, everybody send Ra love for creating this experience week after week. This is his brain baby. Give him some love in the chat and give him a huge hug when you see him and a hearty thank you. So thank you, Ra. Thank you to everybody who is tuning in, whether you're listening or viewing. We love our community and we would not be anything without you. So thank you so much. Happy New Year. Love you all and have a good one wherever you are, whenever it is.
Make 2025 epic. Much love. Thanks.